But I just wanted to get on here and answer some questions that I got about pay when it comes to the trucks and when it comes to the drivers. I had a couple people ask me how the pay structure works for a dump truck driver. And really there's two main ways that a driver can get paid. And the first one is, and this is not as common in this region, I do know it's more common other places, but here it's not so common, and that's a percentage of load or percentage of work. So let's say that you're doing a tonnage haul from one pit to another pit, or from a pit to like a concrete plant or an asphalt plant. That will be billed or paid based on how much material is moved. And then the driver, a lot of times, not every time, but a lot of times in those situations, they get paid a percentage of what the truck makes. So let's say the truck made $1,000 today, and the driver makes 30% of that, so they made $300, regardless of how long it took. And like I said, that's not that common here. And but what's more common is an hourly wage. I get an hourly wage, and most of the truck drivers in the region do as well. But there's all kinds of different stipulations to your hourly wage here. And that would mean that some drivers only get paid when they're actually driving the truck, or they don't get paid for their inspections or things like that. Well, I'll run over that really quick to maybe explain it a little better than that, because that was not a good explanation at all. But so the way that I get paid is when I get to work in the morning, I immediately, first thing I do is I roll my hood on my truck and I check my oil. And from the moment that I actually get there to work is when I start getting paid. And I get paid until I'm completely done with everything. Usually at the end of the day, unless something quickly needs to be, either tightened or fixed or whatever, which I don't do a lot of fixing, but it only takes me 10-15 minutes at the end of the day to finish out everything and get going home. But so I get paid while I'm working the entire time. But I have worked for companies that paid differently. One way that they will pay is they'll pay key to key. So from the time you start the truck to the time you shut it off, you're getting paid. And that would mean that the majority of your day you're getting paid, but for a small percentage of your inspection in the morning and the evening, you're not getting paid. And then I worked for a company that paid gate to gate. So basically meaning that I would, once I drove out of the yard and passed the gate, out onto the road, that's when I started getting paid. And then when I came back, as soon as I hit the gate, that's when I stopped getting paid. And that was fine. It worked out for that company, and I didn't have a problem with it, because they did pay decently for a non-union company, and it was a really good place to work. But the job that I had before that, actually, the reason why I left was because the owner of the company, he only had the one truck, and he told me that he didn't want to pay all of my travel time to and from the job anymore, and that he was only willing to pay me 1 hour a day in travel time, which I don't know if any of you guys live here in the Northwest and drive here in the Northwest. An hour travel time from the yard to the job site is not enough time. Basically, we'd been working on the same job for weeks, and in the morning it took me about an hour and a half, maybe an hour and 15 to get from Linwood to West Seattle, where I got loaded. And so even in that point, like my hour, I've already used my hour first thing in the morning. And we get loaded in West Seattle and then drive to Tacoma, which is further south. And I'd go to Tacoma and I would throughout the day, but you know, at the end of the day, I still ended in Tacoma, and I would dump out and then have to drive 2 hours in traffic back to Linwood. And even, you know, I probably even have to stop at fuel, which, you know, adds time. And I accepted his terms that he offered me, and because you know, I tried to kind of argue with him and tell him that that's not fair. You know, I can't be driving the truck and not getting paid. And he was really adamant that that's how it was going to be. And I said, all right. So I kept doing it for a few more weeks, but that's actually, I immediately started looking for a new job, because when you work 12 or 13 hours a day, it's not really fair for you to not get paid for 3 or 4 hours of that day. And I think I made the right choice in leaving that job. But anyway, so that's pretty much, those are the ways that you can get paid as a truck driver. Some people prefer tonnage hauls. Some people, you know, getting a percentage of what the truck makes. Some people prefer hourly, because if you have breakdowns, then you are still getting paid and you're not getting all stressed out that you have a flat tire or that the truck broke. But that's just kind of, I mean, everyone has their own preference, and I'm not going to judge anybody for what they want to do for their work. I do like being paid hourly, though, especially because I've had jobs where I had really old trucks and they were broken down a lot. But anyways, moving on. And then I had a question from somebody that said that they were just trying to get into dump trucking and that they bought a few trucks. And I mean, I commend you if you like have the money and you have like the want to jump in feet first to this industry. That scares me, because I know that if I bought a truck right now, I could make it work. But that's after years and years and years of knowing the industry and knowing people. But I definitely wouldn't just go out and buy a bunch of trucks. I would want to figure out how to get one working and then go from there. But to each his own. His question was kind of concerning like how dump trucks get paid. And he asked me a few different questions in his comment on one of my videos. And the main thing that he was concerned about was that the truck, when it's out on rent, which is if you're just buying a bunch of trucks, that's what they're going to be. They're going to be out on rent. That they would only be paid while the truck is actually, from the time it gets loaded first thing in the morning and then when it finishes dumping out. You know, he was concerned that they were unwilling to pay for travel time. And my answer to that is that's how the industry works. It's your job to facilitate that, I mean, the cost of the truck traveling to and from the job site. But I have never really, I mean, you can try to negotiate travel time for before and after to get paid extra, but I have never heard of anyone actually doing it unless you have a very strong, you know, business connection where you work together a lot, and you know, it's you're doing them a favor, so they're paying you a little bit extra. But it's really typical for the truck, when it's getting paid hourly, to only get paid from when the first scoop goes into the truck to when you unload the last load. That's how it works. Depending on, you know, it should work out for you to make money, depending on how far you're planning on traveling from your yard to the actual job sites. But I mean, everybody knows my feelings on owning trucks. I mean, I would own trucks. I think it's really cool, and I respect anybody that buys one and wants to be an owner-operator or wants to start a trucking company. I definitely am a little bit jealous that they have that go get it, but my issue always stems back to the health insurance. And people may tease me, but that was weird. Guy just flipped a bitch right in front of me. But so anyway, sorry. Especially with a third kid on the way, the health insurance is really important, and I would probably be super broke right now if I'd had to pay all the bills for when my daughter was in the hospital a few years ago. The only thing that saved us, because I had to take a month off of work because she was in the hospital for a really long time, but the only thing that made it bearable was the fact that the insurance covered all but $1,200 of it. And the insurance that I get from the job that I have now is 10 times better than any insurance that I would be able to afford to buy as an owner-operator. And I think it's amazing that people start their own businesses, and like I said, I am a little jealous, but I also have to do what's best for my family. And I have a really good job. I work for a company that really treats me well, and probably actually treats me too well. I'm probably spoiled rotten, let's be honest here, people. But I'm just being real because I'm a spoiled brat, and I think everybody knows it. But I really love working here, and I feel like if you can find a job where you really enjoy going to work every day, there's no need to make huge changes. But with that said, I hope that explained a little bit about how trucks get paid. I probably didn't explain it super well, but I tried. And if you guys have any questions or you want me to clarify anything, comment below. I'll reply, and I'll see if I can clarify things for you, because it may work in my head, but it may not make any sense to anybody else but me. Let's be real. But thank you guys for watching, and I'm so glad that you're all here, and I really appreciate all the feedback that I get from people and all the subscribers I've gotten over the last 6 months. I really appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you guys soon.